there's a video out there by Stephen Furwick and T.D. Jakes, and I've watched it probably 8 times because I'm determined that even in my own life, a lot of times there's glass ceilings. And you're ready to go to that next level, but oftentimes we are stuck. That's it. Y'all need to make it your point tomorrow since you ain't got to go to work and watch this video. It's powerful. And it talks about soaring. And it talks about how so often in church we're so busy praying and praying and shouting and putting a praise on it and praising, and we ain't got no hustle to go with it. We're over here putting hashtag hustle, and you lay it on the couch eating bonbon, scratching your behind. And we're over here asking God for the furniture. We thank you for furniture. We thank you for breakthrough. And God's given us a tree. And he's saying, I'm giving you a tree. Now, what are you going to do with it? But see, what's happening in life is we allow these seasons to become glass ceilings for us, and it's gotten us stuck in seasons where we can't see out. You ever been at that place where you can't see out? It's like you feel like I am. I talked to somebody today, and they said, I just feel like I'm stuck. And I hear that probably all over the world. And I can tell today, even as I was preaching, I was telling about how in 25 years ago, I walked out of World Harvest Church, and that began to make a cycle for my life of disobedience. Because one act of obedience will do more for you than all the prayer in the world, but disobedience sometimes will get you stuck in a season you wish to God you were out of. Because sin will take you further than you want to go, and it will keep you longer than you want to stay, and it'll cost you everything. And then what happens is you end up getting so torn up from the floor up that you end up in a place of complacency. And so God's over here saying, I got books in you. I've got platforms for you. I've got your own company. I've got money going to be thrown at you because of your faithfulness. However, in this season, your character cannot keep up with what you're praying for. I'm going to need your character, and that's why some of you are stuck in this place that you're in, and you're watching everybody around you get what you wish you had and what you think you deserve. You might can preach circles around me, but God, trust me in this place, because my character can keep up with what God's called me to do. So is your character, it's what you do in the dark when nobody's watching. It's what you're doing during the week, those friends that you've got closest to you. What does their fruit look like? See, we only get one chance at this life, but what's happening is we are taking all of our time and our spare time and we're investing it in people. We are over here investing in people that are literally like termites eating away at our foundation. While we're trying to build an empire, they're eating away at our foundation. Because we don't really feel worthy enough because of the season that we found ourselves in, that now we are allowing and we're holding on to this thing that God's trying to shake us free from. We are praying for open doors and won't get our hands off of the doorknob. Praying for a breakthrough and won't get a breakthrough. We live in a society where everything's fast. We ain't got time. We now don't only have TSA, we have Clear. We don't only have one drive-through, we got 3 drive-throughs. One takes, and Chick-fil-A, they don't own it. Every time I drive into Chick-fil-A and I see people out there, I'm like, no! Because you go through a drive-through, so you ain't got to talk to nobody. And now they got somebody taking your order. They got somebody at the window taking your money. They are freezing. They got heaters in their clothes. And I'm like, just take my money. I mean, there's some days that I go in and I don't want to see nobody, and I literally want to look at them with my window up. I want to talk to the voice in that box right there. That's all I want to talk to, because today I just need a break from people. But see, everything in life is fast. So we don't want to get in those seasons where God's doing a work on the inside of us, because our fallopian tubes are growing. We've got everybody ahead of me. There's people my age, and they already been married 15 years, and I can't even find nobody. I've tried BigRancher.com, BigDaddy.com. I've been on Tinker.com. I've been over here praying for Boaz, but I can't let go of Bozo. So we got to get into a season where we begin to evaluate ourselves, and you've got it, honey. You have got a clean slate. As of tonight, in 30 minutes, you've got a clean slate, and all it takes is a shift in your perspective. All it takes is a shift. Oh, I ain't staying here. I don't even want to go to bed when I get home, because I'm so excited about what God's about to do in my life, because he said that he's going to do exceedingly abundantly more than I could ever. He said, stop looking at the past and look forward. We learn in life when we're walking in the will of God that when you begin to walk in your purpose and you begin to do what God's called you to do, you are no longer have time to look at anybody else and worry about anybody else's grass. You're not over here trying to look at anybody else's grass because you're over here watering your own. And you realize that in life, whenever things are really going the way and you're in the center of his will and you're looking vertical instead of horizontal and you are so in love with who you are and who God called you to be, you're embracing your storm, you're embracing your truth. And honey, all of a sudden, it's like breakthrough takes place in your life. You sleep better. My husband, I'll never forget, I was preaching all over the world and I would try to beat him to bed every night. Because as soon as that man puts his head on that pillow, I had turned him over. I have Snapchatted him. I have called him out like he can help it. But it's because of the peace of God. And I would always say, how do you fall asleep so fast? He said, it's the peace of God. I'm like, I'm preaching all over the world. What are you talking about, the peace of God? He said, ain't something right. Because when you can't lay down at night and realize, God, I did everything that I was supposed to do today. I'm walking in your will. I'm handling business in my life. I'm letting go of the wrong people. I'm loving everybody. I'm walking in the love of the Lord. You lay down at night and you're in perfect peace. Even in your storm, you can be in perfect peace. We learn that we don't get meaner, we just get tougher. When you ain't Petty Crocker no more. This is what we're doing this year. We're going into a season where we're not Petty Crocker anymore. We ain't got time for it because we're focused on what God's going to do in our life, and we realize that God's called us and got a purpose and a plan for our life, and we can't be playing. I hear the Lord saying, be still and know that I am God. There's a shifting taking place, and you're being pushed into your purpose. You thought these troubles were the end of you. Oh no, God was just setting you up. You thought when that curtain had closed, the production was over, but the curtain had to close in order to set up for the next scene. You over here thought they forgot about you, but honey, God was just preparing you and hiding you and putting you down over here. And when he comes on the scene, he's going to speed up time like a time machine, like Back to the Future, but it's going to be into the future. God doesn't have to anoint who you pretend to be. It is often the very thing the enemy uses to try and destroy your life that God uses to help you. Your miracle is not in what you lost, it's in what you have left. As of tonight, you have been set up from the Holy Ghost that you are about to walk. You're going to have a shift in your perspective that says, I can take a licking and keep on ticking. I'm getting better and not bitter. I'm about to become a worshiper and not a worrier. Honey, what? In Matthew 6:34, it says, give your entire attention to what God is doing right now, and don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow. God will help you deal with whatever hard things come up when the time comes. See, some of y'all worrying about some stuff that ain't even happened yet, and it ain't gonna happen. It is still in your joy, and it ain't never gonna happen. You've been worried about the same thing for 3 years, and it ain't never happened. Did you know worrying don't heal your marriage? Did you know worrying don't bring your kid back? Do you know worrying don't get your car saved from what? Stuck in the past and caught up in all the wrongs you have done to others and yourself while you were deep in the throes of your addiction, walking around with that shame. If you can't seem to shake those depressing and distressing memories, you are not doing your recovery in any favor. You're concentrating on who you let down and how you let them down. You gotta let it go. Today was break out. Tonight is breaking out of this place that's been holding you back. What do you do when your hope has nowhere to go? When it's hard to believe because everything you've believed in has let you down? Expectations this year. How many can say this has been the best year I've ever had in my life? I can. And it's been the worst year of my life. It's been the hardest year of my life. I've had people walk out on me that I thought would be ride or dies. Oh, it hurts, especially when you love hard. I never knew that I could forgive this much. I've learned how to love and forgive. And I'm watching all of these things happen in my life. And I'm sitting back this week and I'm just taking an evaluation. And I heard God say, he said, I've been waiting on you the whole time to get yourself out of the way. Because you have been telling me, I don't want to do international. I don't want to preach here. I've been telling him what I felt I was qualified for. And the minute I finally got to a place where I said, I feel qualified. I'm ready, God. I'm ready. Put me where you want me. He said, okay, well, let me open from the top. I'm going to put you with some legends. I'm going to put you some people that are Bible scholars. And I'm going to put you up in the middle of them. And I will still walk into that church and have diarrhea for a whole week before I get there. And God says, he said the other day, he said, are you ready to go international? I said, I'm ready to go international. I'm going to Nigeria on the 6th to preach. What am I saying? He's opening doors in your life and has a plan for your life, but are you willing to get out of your comfort zone and dream? Are you willing to walk on water, whether it means I'm walking on water, and God, I'm either going to sink or you're going to help me walk on water? I'm going to have me some foolish faith this year. I'm about to let go of some people, places, and things. I'm about to let go of shame and guilt in my life. How to let go of the past to move forward. Number one, everything isn't a big deal. Some of y'all are drama queens and drama kings. It is like earth-shaking hell when somebody doesn't do what you... I used to have that problem. I used to be a straight-up Jezebel. I would totally, like, if it got out of my control, I would literally feel the insides of me. You ever been there where you're control freaks? How many control freaks we have in here? Come on, admit it, honey, admit it. Oh, we're setting you free tonight. That's the one thing I love about my ministry. I'm like, God didn't die on no cross for you to be a side chick. That's me. Something about being able to own where you're at. But I used to be a control freak, and I didn't trust God. And do you know controlling people don't trust God? So all of you need to be intentional this year about trusting God. God, I don't know what you're doing in my life, but I trust you. You have to realize everything isn't a big deal, so don't make it one. Even though we all know better, it seems to be human nature to lump all of our ills together in one basket and try to carry them forward, despite the fact that the burden is just too much for us. We should take heed of the recommendation that many people and even treatment experts offer, that is to stop thinking that everything is a big deal when it really isn't. Can they steal your birthday? There's some of you that have been running from creditors all year long. And every time the creditor calls you, that 1-800 number, your heart starts palpitating like they could steal your birthday. And they are $9 an hour employees sitting in a little cul-de-sac thing. And they are called to make you scared. But yet you won't answer the call because you're afraid that they're going to make you feel like you're a loser for not paying your bill. And you want to pay your bill, but you don't know how. But see, we're over here going to stand in line tonight and pray for God to give us a breakthrough. And God is saying, I can't give you a breakthrough because you're on the naughty list. How can I give you debt consolidation when you're over here on the naughty list and they're calling you 24 times a day? You got to answer that call. I'll never forget it. When I went through my divorce, I couldn't even buy a block of cheese with my name. And I remember they were calling me, and my heart was palpitating, and I lost everything, and I already felt like such a failure. And then I remember the Holy Spirit said, pick that phone up. I said, I ain't picking that phone up. And he said, I said, pick the phone up. Your character has to be in a place where I can trust you, and that even means in the quiet places. That means even handling your bills and paying your tithe. And I remember I answered that phone, and they said, ma'am, can I help you? I said, they said, ma'am, do you know you owe blah, 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 blah? I said, yes. They said, when do you think you're going to pay it? I said, when you give me a loan to pay it. Because I want you to quit calling me. They said, well, ma'am, what can you do? I said, I can give you $5 a week. And that was it. I was living with my mom and daddy. I had no money. I was eating romaine noodles with hot dogs in it. What? And I said, I want to pay you, but I don't have any money. He said, okay, well, I'll take $5 a week. I started paying. Within 3 months, I got a bill, and it said debt consolidated. Wiped away. Because God said, you do your part, and at least allow your character to be in a position where I can bless you. You're coming up wanting all kinds of finances to be set free over here in your life, and you won't even pay your 10% tithe. 10 cents on a dollar. I used to have that problem too. And I remember I'd go through Griffin. Every time I'd go through Griffin, I'd get a ticket. And I remember my father said, baby, you know, Daddy don't tell you what to do, but I'm just going to let you know that if you don't start paying your tithe, God's going to get his money anyway. And I was the one that got the dumb tickets like pullover law. Did y'all know it's a pullover law? $530. He got all his back taxes, all of his tithe. And I started paying my tithe, and the devourer got off my money. So I began to start. And there's some of you up here praying for your marriages to be healed. And your mouth is running that man to the guest room. You're up here praying for God to do a miracle in your marriage, and yet you can't shut up. And sir, you won't get off Xbox. It's amazing what happens when you learn to love on each other. It's amazing what happens. See, some of you even praying for a Boaz and a Ruth, but yet you're over here, can't get your mouth under control. You can't even, you are always going to be right. And whenever you get married, you never in my life did I know I'd have to die to my flesh 1,000,000 times a day. Are you ready to walk in forgiveness? Are you ready to stop making everything a big deal that ain't no big deal? You know what I ask myself now? Is it going to steal my birthday? No, which nothing does. So that means, God, I'm going to trust you in this. I'm going to trust you in this. The next one is, the only reality is now. So you got to embrace it now. What are you going to make up in your mind that I'm about to do differently? What are the baggages that I've been carrying around in my life that I'm deciding to let go of tonight? Anger, bitterness. There's some of you walking around, when you walk in a room, you can walk in a room with 1,000 people and you still feel like the only one in that room because you feel so separated. But when you walk in that room, we all feel you. You feel alone and separated, but we all walking in and go, because you walking in like this. And don't you dare let one of our ushers say, can you please take your baby to the nursery? You grabbing all 10 of your kids and running out of the church. Because our heart posture isn't in the place, our character isn't where it needs to be in order for God to give us what we're praying for. We got to prepare for what we're praying for. So before you leave this place tonight, you have got to make up your mind that you are about to lay some things at the feet of Jesus and you're not going to pick them up again. You got to stop coming up here and praying for God to give you red flags. And when he gives you red flags, you actually just absolutely ignore him and begin to pray for him to give you some different red flags. You begin to pray for him to change the red flags. You got to embrace the reality, which is right now, what you're staring at right now. Let's think about the past for a moment and recognize one unalterable truth. The past isn't reality. It cannot be, because it's over and done with. While the repercussions of what we may have done in the past may continue, and we may definitely need to take a responsibility for our actions and stand for them where possible, the past is behind us. We don't live in the past. We live in the present. So why should we give so much of our time and effort over to worrying about what happened in the past? If we want to make changes to our life, we do so in the present, one day at a time. One day at a time, picking up pieces. One day at a time is asking God every day, Father. See, the problem is we're not praying for specifics. Have y'all ever been to that place where you get like, you're like, boo, you can't pray? You ain't got a prayer in your system. Do you know it's because life and death are in the power of your words? And a lot of your lives look like it looks because of your words. When you get to a place where you spend time with God, you have got to, this is a year of intentionality. Where things that you've been praying for, instead of praying for them, you get up and put feet to them. You don't wait for God to open the windows of heaven. No, you begin to just walk. You begin to just say, Father, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm just going to begin to walk out of this place. I'm hurt. I'm broken. I'm angry. Some of you might need to just get your pillow and do whatever you got to do to get it out of you so you stop being mean. And this is a year where you begin to walk in your purpose. There's some of you in jobs with these people and they want you to quit. They don't like you. You are working in a job that you hate and you're mean. People want you walking in your purpose. They're saying, please find out what God's called you to do and begin to walk in it. This is a year where you begin to walk in your purpose. What is your purpose? Your purpose is that thing that keeps you awake at night. It's that thing that you're scared to death to do, but you're just like, oh, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to start walking, and I'm excited, and if nobody likes it, oh, well. If nobody likes my statuses, oh, well. If nobody comes up. I remember when I first started preaching, I'd walk out and I'd look to see if anybody was out there. And God kept saying, I will not do anything until you get to a place where you can preach to 2 just like you can to 1,000. What are you doing with the place he's got you right now? Because right where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be, or you would not be there. There's something hidden in the place you are right now that God is going to use to catapult you to your future. The next one is ask for help from others who's overcome it. You know what I do? I go to places and I will sit in. I remember when I was working for Bloomingdale's and I hated Bloomingdale's and I was angry at God. Like, why am I at Bloomingdale's making $9 an hour? You done forgot about me. My brother's preaching. My daddy and mama preaches. And now I'm over here just working in makeup with these women, and I don't even like women, and I don't even know how to do makeup, and my eyebrows are not on flake. And I remember God began to speak to me, and he said, right now, whenever you can be able to praise your way where you're at right now, when you can begin to say, where I am is where I'm supposed to be, and God's brought me here for a purpose. I don't know what you walked in with. I forgot he don't know me. I'm over here going, there's some things that, we got 15 minutes. And there's some things on the inside of you. I'm so proud of y'all. Not one of you have yawned. And it is 11:47. And y'all know half y'all in bed by now. But this was a setup for you tonight. We got 9 minutes. Whew. You got to begin to get to the place where you are right now. Start getting your mind ready. Start saying, God, I want to take the limits off of you this year. I want to trust you this year. We're about to go crazy in this place. And here's what we're going to do too. I want y'all to learn to step out of your comfort zones. I want y'all to get in here and act crazy. You know how fun it is to act crazy? When everybody's looking at you going, I bet you I get on everybody's nerves. Because even when I'm on InstaSnap, I'm like, hey, 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 hey. I'm like loud. And people are like, I want whatever you're drinking. I'm like, it's Jesus Red Bull. Like, I don't wake up every day hyper. I just don't. But it's in my mind. It's right here. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, God, I'm not dead today. Like when I woke up this morning, you gave me eyes. I could be paralyzed. I could be in a hospital having to learn to walk again. I'm alive. And as long as you're alive, you've got purpose and you've got a plan and you've got a destiny with your name written on it. God has not forgotten about you. Y'all need to go get you some of this magic paper right here. This is what I do. I'm not even kidding. This is how crazy I am. And this year I started getting to a place where I would take stuff and write it and wad it up. Because it was an act of obedience for me. Because of what I was prophesying, it was making, I see, when you remind God of his promises, it's not because he forgets. It's because the more you open your mouth and say something about it, the more you begin to walk in it with faith. You're telling yourself, so all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got this. Some of y'all quit looking in the mirror and quit looking at your dimples and your behind and start looking, girl, you bad. Oh, thick thighs ain't so bad. It catches the phone from falling in the toilet, honey. When you begin to get to that place where you just begin to celebrate where you're at and start doing things on your own. Stop waiting for your pastor to do it. Stop waiting for the bishop to do it. Some of you are on every periscope, every prophetic word. When God gives you a prophetic word, it's something that you already have heard. If you're spending time with God, you're running around to every prophet. No, this year, you got to be intentional about spending time with God for yourself. There were some relationships this year you need to let go of. There's some relationships that you've still been holding on to. Did you know that the one thing, I preached about this today, the one thing that you don't get to choose is who you lose? And thank you, God. Thank you, God, for those things in my life. So those relationships that have broken you down, those relationships that have wounded you, and you just don't understand how you gave all of your life to these people, and you gave them so much, and now they just can walk out and close the door on you and talk about you, and you are mad about it. You gotta, hold up. I'm scared because my dress might catch on fire. Relationships gone. I'm not gonna pick it up again. Lies, all the lies told about you. People that have lied on you and told lies about you that were not true. Hold up, baby, I don't want to burn you. Gone. That's how quick things leave when you begin to walk in forgiveness and keep God the center of it all. Addictions. How many of you have addictions in this room? How many of you have addictions? Addictions to negative people. Addictions, having to drink yourself to sleep. Addictions, painkillers. Did you know it's under the blood of Jesus? Gone. I'm laying it at the feet of Jesus. And here's what I want you to do in the next couple of minutes while we're burning stuff. I want you to literally believe and stand on it. I want you, in fact, get up on your feet. Y'all ain't going to sleep on me now. And as we are beginning to burn these things, you got to, by faith, prophetically see your habit gone. Are you ready? And then we're going to shout ourselves free. Hurt. How many of you in this place are holding on to some hurt? You're holding on to some hurt. Betrayal. Your daddy walked out on you. Then your ex walked out on you. Betrayal. It hurts. Let it go. Jealousy. How many of you need to get rid of some jealousy? Comparing your life to everybody else's. Quit comparing and walk in your calling. Jealousy. Oh, I'm getting good at it now. Lust. Who in this place is sleeping with people that ain't your husband? Watching pornography. You gonna let it go? You gotta make a declaration. I'm gonna let it go. I'm about to let it go. It's under my feet. Anger. Who's got anger issues? You gotta let it go. Under the blood. Hopelessness. Let it go. Fear. Who's got fear in here? Who's afraid of your tomorrow? Right now, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Insecurities. Come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. Come on. Come on. Rejection. How many of you have had rejection in here? Hurts like hell, don't it? You ready to let it go? You ready to let it go? Let it go. You know what this means? This means that you can't pick it back up again. You can't go home and get on Facebook and stalk those people anymore. You gotta be intentional. Mistakes. How many of you got some mistakes in here? Some things you're ashamed of. When you walk out of this room tonight, all of those mistakes are behind you. You hear me? All of the mistakes you might have been nay-naying in a bar last night and feeling bad today. But honey, you came to church today. So proud of you. So we're going to let go of mistakes. You ready? You ready to let it go? You ready to let it go? You got to let go of mistakes. Those are some of the things that hold you down the most. Depression. How many people in here suffer from depression? Come on, depression's real. Anxiety attacks. Come on. You got to acknowledge it. See, you got to own it. You got to own it to let it go. God can't heal what you won't reveal. Depression, go. Go. Pride. Pride. Y'all ready? Let it go. Let it go. People pleasing. Come on. Let it go. Let it go. Are we counting down? Oh! 2018, the year of completion. Right. 2018, the year of completion. 2018 is a year where God's going to begin to give you back restitution. Do you know what restitution means? 7 times greater. I dare you, when you walk out of this room, to every day of your life begin to lay hands on yourself and begin to tell God, surprise me, surprise me. Today when I was praying, God said, I'm about to take you and your church into a surprise me season. You've been praying for small things. He said, I'm about to open the windows of heaven over your life. So here's what you got to do. When you walk out of this room, you can't pick up what you left here. We burn that stuff. We burn it. Some of you still trying to figure out how you're going to do it. You're going to do it because you're going to be intentional. And you're going to begin for the next day. You're not going to be, half y'all ain't working. How many of y'all getting to work, stay home tomorrow? Tomorrow, be intentional. Get you a plan. Get you a setup. And every time you start going back, you remember why you are where you are. Every time you want to look back, you begin to say, nothing I walked out of is greater than what God's bringing into my life. So God, I don't know what you're going to do, but I know it's greater than what you've let go of in my life. We love you so much.